Michael's fingers danced over the piano keys, like they had a mind of their own. The music building at Crestwood College was always quiet on Sunday evenings, and he liked it that way. No distractions, no judgmental stares from classmates who whispered about how a pastor's kid could play jazz like it was a confession. His melodies were raw, almost too honest, as if the piano was a truth serum. But that's why people stopped to listen when he played in the courtyard between classes. That's why his roommate, Dex, kept saying, "Bro, you're gonna be huge one day." Dex was the kind of friend who made bad decisions feel like adventures. He wore leather jackets in summer, snorted lines of ambition and occasionally other things, and had a laugh that could make a nun swear. "You're too clean, Mikey," he'd say, flicking ash off his cigarette onto Michael's sheet music. "Great artists need to live a little. Ever heard of Bowie? Hendrix? They didn't pray their way to fame." Michael shrugged it off at first, but loneliness has a way of bending principles. His parents divorced the year before had left him untethered, and late-night calls with his mother always ended the same. "Don't end up like your father, Michael. Stay close to God." But God felt quiet, distant, like a radio station fading in and out of static. The first time Michael tried Adderall, it was during finals week. Dex tossed him a pill in the library, grinning. "Trust me, you'll finish that composition in 2 hours." He did. And when he played it for his music theory class, even Professor Riggs, a stoic woman with a permanent scowl, nodded and said that is art. By sophomore year, the pills became a ritual. Swallow, create, repeat. Music poured out of him, moody, hypnotic ballads about fractured families and the quiet ache of existing. He started performing at underground campus parties where the air smelled like sweat and weed, and strangers screamed lyrics back at him like they'd written them. Girls with smudged eyeliner kissed his cheek and slipped phone numbers into his guitar case. Dex filmed clips of him on a shaky iPhone, posting them online with hashtags like hashtag star in the making. Then came the night the police raided the Sigma Phi house. Michael wasn't even supposed to be there. He'd sworn off parties after getting too high the week before and dissociating during a performance. But Dex called frantic, "I'm stuck, man. Cops are outside. I've got a bag of Molly in my pocket. Help." He went. Of course he went. They caught him trying to flush the pills down a toilet. The dean called it a grave moral failure. His mother cried into the phone, "How could you?" And Crestwood College, a small Christian school in the hills of Tennessee, expelled him with a letter that cited repeated substance abuse violations. The Nashville dive bar smelled like stale beer and broken dreams. Michael slumped on a wobbly stool, strumming his guitar for tips. 2 months since the expulsion. 2 months of crashing on Dex's cousin's couch, ignoring his father's texts, "Come home, son. We'll fix this," and playing for drunk strangers who clapped like seals between shots. That's when he met Lila. She was a backup singer for a washed-up country artist, all crimson hair and silver rings. "You're too good for this place," she said, sliding him a whiskey. Her voice was smoke. "I know a producer. He's looking for something real, something haunted." The producer, a bald man with a diamond earring, offered him a deal after hearing him play Once Was Golden, a song Michael wrote about his parents. "Kid, you're a raw nerve, but raw doesn't sell. We need to polish you, brand you, make you digestible." Michael hated every second of it. The studio lights burned. The auto-tune felt like a lie. But when his first single hit 100K streams in a week, he let Lila drag him to a rooftop party in LA, where celebrities sipped champagne and called him brilliant. He should have been happy. Instead, he started vomiting before every show. "You need Jesus, man," said Carlos, his new drummer, a recovering addict with a cross tattooed on his wrist. They were in a green room before a sold-out show in Chicago, and Michael was shaking so badly he couldn't hold his water bottle. "This life's eating you alive. Come to church with me Sunday." He went. The megachurch was all strobe lights and electric guitars. The pastor preached about prosperity and purpose. God wants you to shine, he roared, and the crowd erupted. Michael cried during altar call. He threw his bag of pills into a trash can outside. For 3 weeks he prayed, read scripture, and told his label he wouldn't play venues that served alcohol. His manager dropped him. You're committing career suicide, Lila hissed. But Carlos smiled. God's got you. He didn't. Months passed. Michael's savings dried up. His Instagram followers plummeted. Desperate, he took a gig at a casino in Reno, the kind of place where people gambled their Social Security checks. After the show, a man in a tailored suit approached him. Your old stuff had teeth, the man said. His voice was smooth, unsettling. No accent, but every word felt heavy. You traded your bite for a leash. Pathetic. Who are you? Someone who sees potential. You want to matter? Truly matter? I can make you a god, but it'll cost you. The man's eyes were black. Not metaphorically. Black. Like voids. Michael laughed, a nervous, jagged sound. Is this a prank? Are you filming me? The man placed a hand on his shoulder. Cold seeped through Michael's jacket. You'll write a song tomorrow. It'll feel like fire in your veins. You'll call it Devil's Hymn. Play it, and the world will burn for you. But once you play it, you're mine. He wrote the song in 20 minutes. It was wrong. Wrong. The chords slithered. The lyrics dripped with something he didn't recognize, a hunger, a cruelty. But when he played it for Carlos, his drummer turned pale. That's powerful, man. Scary, but powerful. He uploaded a clip online at 3 a.m. By dawn, it had 2 million views. Comments flooded in, "This is my new anthem. I've listened to this 50 times, and I'm still crying. How does someone so young understand pain like this?" The man in the suit was waiting outside his apartment that evening. "Time to pay your debt," he said, smiling. His teeth were too sharp. The contract appeared in Michael's hands, old parchment, blood-red ink. He didn't read it. He didn't need to. The piano in his head was playing Devil's Hymn on a loop. Louder, louder, louder. He signed. The fame came like a hurricane, beautiful and brutal. Devil's Hymn wasn't a song, it was a virus. It infected radio stations, TikTok feeds, stadium speakers. Suddenly, Michael wasn't playing dive bars. He was headlining Coachella, his face plastered on billboards, his name trending next to words like genius and revolution. Croats roared when he stepped on stage, their screams primal, almost feral. They didn't just listen to his music, they consumed it. But the song never left him. It hummed in his bones, a constant static. He'd wake up with melodies clawing at his skull, lyrics spilling out of him in gasps. His hands shook unless they were on a piano. His label assigned him a wellness team, a nutritionist, a therapist, a personal trainer who forced him to drink green sludge every morning. None of them noticed the mark on his chest, just above his heart, a faint, spiraling bruise that pulsed when he played. Asterisk. Lila became his shadow again. "You're a god now," she'd say, adjusting his collar before interviews. But her smile didn't reach her eyes. The first time he collapsed was in Paris. Mid-concert, halfway through Devil's Hymn, the stage lights turned hellfire red. Michael's vision blurred. The crowd morphed into a sea of grinning teeth and hollow eyes. He vomited over his keyboard, then passed out to the sound of 50,000 fans chanting his name. The doctor blamed dehydration. The label blamed stress. Carlos blamed him. "You made a deal, didn't you?" Carlos cornered him backstage, his cross necklace glinting. "That night in Chicago, the guy in the suit. I saw him, Mike. He wasn't human." Michael laughed, dizzy. "You're jealous. My music's saving people. You see the fan letters? Kids saying my songs kept them from." "Listen to yourself." Carlos grabbed his shoulders. You think this is you? That thing you signed away. That's your soul, man. You're light. And you're letting it rot. Carlos quit the next day. The dream started soon after. Michael would see his father kneeling in their old church, praying for a son who never called. His mother, alone in her apartment, staring at a framed photo of him playing piano at age 7. Dex, OD'd in a motel bathtub, phone in hand. Michael's number typed but never dialed. And him, the man in the suit. He'd appear at the foot of Michael's bed, smoke curling from his lips. "Tick-tock, prodigy," he'd whisper. "You're mine at midnight. Better make this fame worth it." Michael stopped sleeping. He wrote an album in 9 days. Hell World, he called it. The label executives wept when they heard it. "This isn't music," one said. "It's a religion." They were half right. Fans tattooed his lyrics on their ribs. Critics called him the voice of a shattered generation. Every interview was the same. How does it feel to be a phenomenon? What's next for Michael Vale? No one asked if he was okay. Except her. Evie worked the lights at his Denver show. A college dropout with a nose ring and a dimple when she smirked. "Your music's a cry for help," she said bluntly, chewing gum as she coiled cables after the set. Michael froze. "What?" "Devil's Hymn. It's not about pain. It's about being in pain. You know the difference." He didn't. But he kissed her anyway, rough, desperate, like she was oxygen. She tasted like spearmint and rebellion. For a month, she traveled with him. She didn't care about his fame. She mocked his designer clothes, dragged him to late-night diners, drew silly cartoons on his set lists. When he woke up screaming from nightmares, she'd hold him and hum old punk rock songs. "You're not a monster," she said once, tracing the bruise on his chest. It had spread, vines now curling toward his throat. "You don't know what I've done," he muttered. "So undo it." He tried. In Baton Rouge, he ripped up his set list and played gospel. The crowd booed. They threw bottles. "Give us Hell World," they chanted. In Seattle, he burned his contract on a hotel balcony. The parchment didn't catch fire. It laughed, a high, cruel sound. In L.A., he tracked down Carlos. "Help me," he begged. His drummer, now working at a rehab center, handed him a Bible. "It's not too late. Fight." But the man in the suit was waiting in his car. "Fight what?" the devil purred, materializing in the passenger seat. "You're not the victim here, Michael. You're the drug, and the world is addicted." The final show was in Vegas, a residency at the Omnia, a venue shaped like a rib cage. Sold out for months. Michael hadn't eaten in days. The bruise now covered half his torso, throbbing with every chord. Evie begged him to cancel. "You'll die up there," she cried. He kissed her forehead. "I already did." The concert began at 11 p.m. He played Devil's Hymn as an encore. Mid-song, the stage plunged into darkness. Screams erupted. When the lights flickered back on, Michael was gone. They found him on the roof, standing at the edge. Evie reached him first. "Michael, stop." "It's midnight," he whispered. The man in the suit stood behind him, a shadow with glowing embers for eyes. "Time's up." Michael's body went rigid. The bruise on his chest burst open, a black, pulsing wound. Evie screamed as smoke poured from it, coalescing into a skeletal hand that gripped his throat. "Please," Michael choked, tears streaming. "I don't want to go." The devil smiled. "Darling, you never left." He fell backward, or was pushed. The headlines called it a tragedy, a overdose, a mental health crisis. Fame's fatal price, TMZ blared. At the funeral, Evie placed a crumpled set list in his casket. Carlos read psalms. Lila chain smoked in the parking lot. But in a locked bedroom in Nashville, a 17-year-old girl played Devil's Hymn on loop, her eyes vacant. In Tokyo, a boy tattooed the lyrics down his arm. In Madrid, a crowd chanted Michael's name at a vigil that turned into a riot. And somewhere in the static between radio waves, his music played on. The world kept spinning. Michael's death was a hashtag, a merch drop, a cautionary tweet. But for Evie, it was a splinter lodged deep in her ribs. Sharp, relentless there. She quit her job, sold her car, and spent her nights in the Nashville Public Library, poring over occult texts with titles like The Infernal Pact and Songs of the Damned. The librarians knew her by name. Carlos found her there one evening, his cross necklace tucked under a hoodie. "You look like hell," he said, sliding into the chair beside her. "Funny," Evie muttered, her finger tracing an illustration of a demon with two sharp teeth. "You here to preach or help?" "Both." He opened his laptop. A video played, security footage from the Vegas venue. Michael, mid-concert, his body jerking like a puppet as smoke poured from his chest. "It's not over, Evie. The thing that took him? It's hunting again." A name flashed on Carlos's screen, Jaden Cole. A 19-year-old indie prodigy from Brooklyn. His new single Bleed the Sky was surging on charts. Comments called it hypnotic, soul-crushing, Devil's Hymn 2.0. Evie's throat tightened. "How do we stop it?" Carlos leaned closer. "We find the contract." They drove to Michael's old apartment, now a shrine of graffiti and wilting flowers. Evie picked the lock, her hand steady. Inside, the air smelled of mildew and weed. Sheet music littered the floor, notes scribbled in margins like frantic pleas. In the closet, under a box of unsent letters to his mom, Evie found it, a parchment wrapped in velvet. The contract, blood-red ink shone, words twisting. "The undersigned pledges their eternal soul in exchange for dominion over mortal hearts." "Burn it," Carlos said. Evie flicked her lighter. The flame guttered out. A laugh echoed from the corner. The man in the suit materialized, his eyes voids. "Contracts can't be broken, darling. Only transferred." Evie lunged, lighter raised. He vanished, leaving frost on the walls. Jaden Cole's loft was all exposed brick and arrogance. Gold records hung next to posters of Michael. "He was a legend," Jaden said, pouring Evie a drink. "But I'm next." Evie distorted. His demo played in the background, a snarling track about betrayal. The same slithering chords as Devil's Hymn. "You've met someone. A man in a suit. He's lying to you." Jaden smirked. "He said you'd say that." She slapped him. Hard. "You want to end up like Michael? Soulless? Forgotten?" He touched his cheek, startled. For a second, he looked 12 years old. "I just want to be heard." Carlos burst in, waving his phone. "It's happening." The bruise, look. Jaden yanked his collar. A spiraling mark pulsed above his heart. The devil met them at Trinity Church, its pews dusty, its cross cracked. "Sentimental," he sneered, perched on the altar. "You think holy ground scares me? I invented shame." Evie stepped forward, contract in hand. "Take me instead." Carlos grabbed her arm. "No." "Michael's soul for mine," she demanded. The devil tilted his head. "Why?" "Because he's worth saving. And I'm not." Her voice cracked. She thought of her absent father, her mom's overdose, the nights she'd stared at pills and wondered why not. The devil smiled. Finally, someone honest. He snapped his fingers. The world dissolved. Evie stood in a void. Michael before her, not the gaunt rock star, but the boy from the college courtyard, eyes wide, fingers stained with ink. "Evie," he whispered, "what did you do?" She reached for him. "You deserve better." "So did you." A roar shook the void. The devil appeared, enraged. "This isn't the deal." Michael stepped between them. "You want a soul? Take mine. Again. And again. But you don't touch her. Or Jaden. Or anyone else." The devil lunged. Michael's hands glowed, golden radiant, as he gripped the demon's wrists. "You don't own me anymore." The contract ignited. The devil howled, dissolving into ash. Evie woke on the church floor. Carlos knelt beside her, praying. Jaden's bruise had vanished. Michael's music faded from the charts that week. Fans called it a glitch, but his songs no longer hooked into brains like parasites. At a tiny Brooklyn venue, Jaden played an acoustic set. No growls, no venom, just a shaky cover of Once Was Golden. Evie moved to Tennessee, bought a farmhouse with a porch swing. Some nights, she'd hear piano notes on the wind, sweet and sorrowful. She'd smile, pour 2 coffees, and whisper, still showing off, huh? But in a dorm room at Crestwood College, a freshman scrolled Michael's old lyrics, her cursor hovering over a demo titled Angel's Requiem. Somewhere a shadow stirred. The devil always gets the last verse.